Hi, this is Shashi Saluna from livetantra.com. I wanted to share a little bit about how to deal with difficult emotions during these times, especially for those who are co-isolating, that is, isolating together with a partner or with somebody else for that matter. What's coming up for a lot of clients of mine is that the difficult emotions are making it very difficult to live with someone. And right now, many of us are experiencing very high levels of emotion because we're going through a lot of unknown, and it it feels like basically a trauma situation that's going on in the body. So we need to have a lot of tolerance, a lot of compassion, a lot of understanding, and most of all, a lot of kindness with each other to get through this period. But also, we need some wisdom, we need some tools. If you are someone who thought about learning Tantra, you're a couple like, oh, one day we'll learn Tantra. Well, now that time has come, whether you like it or not, because you are going to really have to learn how to work through things together when you're co-isolating. There will be no escape. The pubs are closed now in most countries, so you can't just disappear off to the pub. You're going to have to really work out how to make this a pleasant, tolerable, even loving and healing situation for each other. And many of my clients have reported a similar situation, which has been women tend to be crying more, it seems. And I just want to say it's not the only way, but all the clients who've called me with emotional problems, it's this way around, that women are feeling just overwhelmed with emotion and just breaking down and crying. And men in that situation are losing their temper, getting angry, saying, pull yourself together, get over it, just getting a bit snappy. Obviously, that's not every situation, and there may be men crying and women getting snappy, of course. But what do we need to do in these situations to move through it? First of all, we need a little tolerance. We need to understand that we all, as human beings, respond to a crisis in a different way, and that all responses are equally valid. So some people do go into panic, some into anxiety, some just freeze and go silent, some go into denial. Denial is also a trauma response. So, like saying, oh, there's nothing wrong, what global crisis, don't be so stupid, da, da, da. It's actually also a coping mechanism. And then others get very irritated, angry, frustrated, this kind of more heated emotion. All different ways of responding to a crisis are equally valid. At the same time, we also need to know how to process them, because what you don't want to do is get stuck with the emotion, get stuck, crippled by fear, awake at night with anxiety, overwhelmed, or also like burning up with anger and frustration. All of these are unpleasant experiences. And the reason they are unpleasant is because our energy is basically getting blocked and building up somewhere. So we need to be able to process emotions, just keep them flowing like a river. It's not that we are trying to get to a state of not having them, but being able to regulate them, process them, and move them on. And as a couple, we can also support each other in processing emotions. So judging each other for the emotions that you're having is not that helpful. Saying you shouldn't panic, you shouldn't worry, or you're too angry, or you're too grumpy, or whatever, you're too this, you're too that, is generally not helpful. Maybe you've tried that approach and it's not working. It's time to move on to something a little more sophisticated than making your partner wrong. How about that? So what works instead? Well, it's a good idea to ask your partner, what do you need? I see, what do you need when you're crying? Would you like to be held? Would you like me to reassure you? Would you like me to just listen, or would you like feedback? These are kind of things that it's really helpful to ask, and to let the person feeling the emotion decide, because some of us want to just be held and reassured, you're fine and I love you and I've got you. Others want someone to listen to them and say, oh, what I hear is that you're feeling afraid, and what I hear is that you're feeling this and feeling that. So there are different things that we need. And anger is another one. Anger is one of the most difficult things to live with in somebody else, especially if you're living in a small space. Interestingly, anger often takes us out of the space. It's the kind of thing that people go off and jump in their car and go for a drive or whatever, and you may not be able to do that. So what are you going to do about your anger? You do need to know how to move it. Now, sometimes you can just go within and find out what's vulnerable underneath, and that takes a lot of maturity. But hey, you've got weeks of self-inquiry right now to develop that. So if you ask yourself, if you put your hand on your heart and you go, okay, I'm feeling really frustrated right now, but what's really vulnerable for me? And pause and listen and feel, oh, actually, underneath this anger, I'm really scared. I'm afraid of losing my job. I'm afraid of, whatever. So actually, anger is a layer on top of something more vulnerable. And if you go to your partner raging with anger versus go to your partner with some vulnerability and say, oh, I notice I'm feeling this and this and this, it's going to be much easier for them to support you through your vulnerability. I guarantee you. If you have anger that you need to move, then move it without your partner. Go in the bedroom and bash a pillow, push a wall with a sound, bash a pillow, shake your body, tell them I'm going to go move my emotion right now. It's got nothing to do with you. Go and clear it. Bring in some peace. Take some deep breaths and then move on. So take responsibility for your emotions. It's okay to have them. It's not okay to let them fester inside you and project them onto somebody that you're living with. Okay, it's not okay to make it their responsibility either. So it's a great honor, it's a great privilege when someone's willing to help you. So this is the most beautiful thing we can do in a relationship, is say, what do you need? Beloved, when you're feeling really angry and we're stuck in this small house together, what do you feel you really need? And, maybe no one's ever asked him or her that, and they're like, what do I need? Well, I just feel so trapped here. Okay, well, why don't you push on the wall and make a sound, and it can feel so good. Help support each other to find out what you need to return to peace. What do you need to return to peace? So, these are steps that we need to take so that we can really do this thing. And it's not only about making it pleasant to be living together while co-isolating, but it's also about helping each other to process. We've gone through trauma on a global scale right now. There are not enough psychotherapists or trauma healers in this planet to heal all the people who are experiencing trauma. So we have to show up for our partners right now. We have to show up for each other. It's a big passion of mine to actually teach couples how to support trauma healing with each other. And I will be releasing soon a podcast on that, which will be on Tantra Made Easy, which is my podcast. So you can go and listen to it. I really believe, having run couples retreats for many years, that we actually need to be able to support our beloved through healing trauma. And so that's something that I love to teach. So I am hoping that this video is finding you all really well. I hope you are safe and taking care of one another. And let's keep praying for global healing. And I will see you again soon.